had a rough day, Mike. You had a rough day. You had to get up at the crack of dawn. Was the sun even up when you woke up?
No. I had to. Oh man, that was like bad because like I had to like pick up Ben at like near midnight, get back home, install an update for Final Fantasy 14, and then it went live at 1. And even spamming that refresh button for the world maintenance thing, like is maintenance done, is maintenance done. Even spamming that near like the 1 o'clock mark, and it finally was on. Hit play to launch the game. Servers were full immediately. I had to wait like 20 seconds to get in. But for the first few hours, like people weren't able to get into the game because just overcrowding. Like people just rushed the game.
Which is just going to happen. I mean, that's just the way the name of the game.
Yeah, but the game didn't crash. The servers didn't go down or anything like that. There was no weird emergency maintenances because one zone was like overcrowded. Like we were worried. So they introduced a new job, the Rogue, which levels up to Ninja when you hit 30. And there's a starting area to go get that job, and people were just camping out there before the servers went down. And people were like, we're getting the hell out of here, because this zone is going to be like go down immediately once they flip the switch again. But it didn't. Usually they have to do an emergency maintenance where they turn off a zone temporarily to clear everyone out, reset it, and then people can go back in. And after a few hours, people were like, I got in the game just fine. There's just that initial rush. So pretty smooth at this point.
And that's the way other jobs work, where you have to go to a specific area, right? There's like only that one person that gives you the job.
Yes. So the biggest new thing that they added in the new patch 2.4, Dreams of Ice, is the Rogue and Ninja. And when you start 14, you pick your starting class. You get a starting city based on that because each city has guilds for your job discipline. Pretty standard fare.
Right.
The Rogue Ninja starts off in the oceanside city of, I just call it LL, but it's like Limsa Lamsa. Or
right.
Lamos. Like
Limsa?
Yeah. I always forget the name. Everyone just writes LL and stuff. So yeah, that's the starting zone for it. It's right near the Fisherman's Wharf, where the Fisherman's Guild is. Just walk across the dock. It's right there in this new building. You have to go inside, get your quest, you get your little daggers, and you go out and you do like really flashy animations, and you're good to go as Rogue and Ninja. The only difference is you can't pick that if you're starting fresh, new character. You cannot pick Rogue as your starting class
because you have to get certain classes up to a certain level.
To unlock, how they structured it is you have to complete a level 10 quest or be level 10 before Rogue will unlock. So you can't actually get it until another class is at level 10.
And this doesn't cost anything. This is not a part of it. They just announced Heaven's Ward, but like that's going to be a full-blown expansion.
The content patch updates don't cost additional money. Now, there are 2-tiered subscription fees, and there's a lot of different like ways they can change prices. Go look it up on MogStation for the Lodestone, which is the Final Fantasy 40 site. They have all the pricing there. Sometimes it's way too confusing. Like I just know my credit card's updated. It pays my fee. It's like $15 a month, but I have all these extra services on there. But yeah, Rogue and Ninja's there. Everyone was rushing to level up their rogues. Like all these like groups looking for just straight rogues running around like.
But you didn't do any rogue stuff on the stream. You went straight into the.
So everyone was doing rogue stuff at the beginning. I was like, you know what? It's so boring watching people level up classes like that low level. Like I did a few parts. I did go on it while I was waiting and doing it. But you have like one action at low level. It's this flashy little spin kick move. It's like I don't.
No, I didn't even for my guy when I had to level up. Because I'm a paladin, so I think I had to level up warrior or something to get like an extra defense buff or something like that, just to like add to the class, like to to have a little sub stat or something.
Yeah, like
And I didn't even bother buying armor. I was just running around in boxer shorts, like killing things.
A lot of people were doing that too, like running around pretty much butt naked almost, just doing that just to get leveled up to get their other gear. So yeah, there are a lot of people focusing on that. Me, I was like, no, I want to like show off like what's the new stuff.
Big fish.
So ran through the story. I usually do skip all the cutscenes. I watch them later, but also I don't want people on the stream to like have to sit through the story. Like go play the game if you want to see the story.
Sure.
I'm not here to spoil the story for you. So we showed off the first part of the new Primal battle, Shiva. Mm-hmm. So she's part of the story this time. She has a really cool arena. The battle wasn't particularly hard, but it was
really
fun. So there's two versions always. There's a story mode version, then there's the extreme version.
Right.
The extreme version is the real version if you're looking for a challenge. So
I think that's the version I saw you doing over and over and over.
We unlocked the extreme version and so many people were busy doing other stuff, just couldn't get a party forever. But thankfully got a party just in time for like our 2-hour block where we're supposed to start streaming it at 10 a.m. It was an interesting fight to learn. It was a lot of different mechanics and stuff. The usual stuff was there, though. Like, there's a DPS check at one part you got to clear, otherwise you don't get to the next phase. A lot of dodging, A lot of dealing. There's tank swap mechanic, but it's an interesting tank swap mechanic because she pulls out different weapon types. So she has like
cool.
like a lot of the other primals, people, you can skip cutscenes, but read the battle text because so many clues are in the battle text. So she'll scream out a phrase and like something about like drawing a blade, which means she can take out a sword and shield, and she's actually going to do this attack called Ice Brand. It's like, oh man, I've heard of that attack, but the tank can't take it. One shot them, so they have to run with the party and distribute the damage between the party. Then there's a staff one where she does like AOE circles, which drop icicles on you, and like. Each one gives like a certain type of debuff. Like one gives you like a slashing.
Both modes are just the extreme one, just the tough one.
So the tank's got to swap when they get too many stacks of one. Like it's basically whenever a certain weapon comes out, a certain tank is assigned to tanking that weapon.
Right.
So it's kind of interesting. I was like, that's kind of cool. And in the later parts, it get really insane with all like the dodging and stuff you got to deal with. We did end up finally like clearing it. I was like, yeah, like this is great to like clear it day one. Like I haven't like done that before. So, oh man, we had like one guy kept dying. I was like, oh please. And then they, like, traditional fashion, they won the gear. I was like, no.
Oh, of course. But it was interesting to see the chat help out. That's got to be kind of fun to have like all these voices in your head in the background, you know, like throwing out things or noticing like, oh, I know what, because it's tough. Like when you fail, it's tough to know like I can't keep an eye on everybody. So who died first? Who was really the weak link there? You know, that we need to remind. And it was kind of nice, you know, seeing. I was noticing people in chat pointing that stuff out, calling people out, being like, no, it was that tank. You're like, no, it was that one guy.
It's very good to have that feedback.
Not enough DPS.
It helps. That's another benefit of live streaming. It helps you learn this stuff a lot faster. Some groups. So the other big thing that happened was the new coil Bahamut. Final coil's there, and a lot of groups are rushing to be like server first or world first. So they want to be a little bit more secretive with the tactics. But go figure. The Japanese group, the famous Japanese group, cleared the first 2 turns of coil on day 1, turn 10 and turn 11. They're ready, so they're halfway through it already on one day.
Wow.
And then a lot of other groups have followed suit and cleared turn 10. We got in there for 2 hours, our group, my usual static. We got it down about like half health. So near the end, we did it twice. We got there. I think we've seen almost all the mechanics. There's one mechanic apparently that comes a little later, but I hope people in the chat were constantly saying, this looks really hard. I'm like, yes. Like, it might seem simple when you see a video of some people doing it cleanly and getting it done, but like this boss, it's like just this giant cat thing. It's like on this giant platform, and it has rings, and it's getting electrified, and it keeps creeping in on you. And that's like the enraged timer. If it gets to the center, you're done. You lost. You can't survive the stacks from it. But like it does a charge attack. Like it one-shotted the person it hit. Like, what do we do here? So like, let's all stack on it. Like we'll absorb the party damage. Didn't work. So we made a conga line, and it hit each one by one, and like it worked. It was the most ridiculous looking thing in the world. I'm like, what are we doing? Like only in this game we got to do
the sacrifices you got to do to save the realm, man.
Oh man,
to save Eorzea, you got to look like a fool.
So
you got to do a conga line.
You got to do crazy stuff sometimes. If it works, it works.
Yeah,
you know, whatever. So we showed off that. And then I think the other cool thing we showed off was, for old school fans, the Ultros battle. The battle of Ultros and Typhon, which is, it's an arena. You can fall off, but you don't die. You get stunned. If everyone falls off, the battle resets, though. So the mechanic is, eventually the 4 people get turned into the imps from Final Fantasy VI, but it's a 3D model. And you have to get these buffs on you, and then you unleash like an imp attack, like this spinning blade thing, to interrupt Typhon's big like blow attack where he knocks everyone back.
Okay.
So and there's no VO during it, which is a little disappointing because it was kind of funny to hear their VO in 13.2 for the DLC. Yeah. But like the mechanics of it, it's a fun fight. And if you win, you get to roll on a little Ultros minion who follows you around. So it's like kind of
automatic drop. Like everybody
it's automatic drop
it?
Every time, but no, only one person gets it. You got to roll on it.
Oh, okay.
So
Classic.
A lot of people are going to be going back in there, but it's just like it shows that the game has like serious content. It has goofy content.
Well, it's a lot, you know, just for an update for everybody to check out. So one final question. Were you surprised at what people were doing? Were you able to tell, like, wow, everybody's kind of gravitated, like you're saying, towards Rogue, you know, or do you think people went straight to Bahamut, or was Shiva the really cool thing? Because I like, just from the limited time that I've had with 14, I really like how the primals or the, you know, the summons or whatever are integrated into the story. So that every time one of those is added to the game, it's always very exciting. That's probably where I would want to go if I was an end-level character first.
I feel like people up to this point had been playing, know what they gravitate towards, like what's their primary focus. So a lot of the crafters went to rush to go get the new recipes and get the new 4-star like crafting stuff, and the insanity dealing with that to be like the first to craft the new gear and stuff. That like I saw people wearing the new outfits, like, oh, that's kind of cool. Wow, one day. The hardcore raiders were in Final Coil immediately, like trying to get that first clear, while other groups were the old second coil is now unlocked, so you can farm it for as much gear as you want without any restrictions.
Oh, wow.
So a lot of the stacks are also going in there to gear up everyone in preparation for starting the Final Coil. And then there are people who are like, Rogue Ninja might be broken. I might be super powerful, so this might be a great DPS class to take into Final Coil. So we're gonna go level it up because we want to like have this new class or this completionist. Like that's like right now everyone's running it. This is gonna be the easiest and quickest time to level it up. So I mean there was everything. And then for me it's like I want to see the new EX Primal because I love the Primal battles. Like this is my favorite thing. I was like I want to see what this is like.
The music is so good.
Oh yeah, when it changes when it gets to the rock part, yeah, that's pretty good. One last thing I'll add really quick. They finally opened the real money item shop in 2.4.
Oh damn! I didn't
So
hear about this.
they've started selling stuff. There's an item called a Fantasia that lets you physically transform your race, gender, or appearance. In game, you can pay a gil fee to change your hairdo, but physical appearance and stuff, you have to spend a potion. The pricing on it's a little steep. It's like 5 for 1, or like they have tiers for multiple ones. You get a discount as you choose more. They're finally selling a mount that you can only get from there, so you can't get it in game any means. So you're not getting robbed of like getting in-game content. It's $24, but every single character you have in the game will get it though.
Nice.
So
Okay.
like I have 3 characters, all 3 got it.
Cool.
Then they are selling 3 minions for $5 a piece, but you could only that one $5 is only good for 1 character.
Is it a horse? Is that the guy you were jumping around?
Yeah,
on?
that like giant.
Okay.
Oh, it's Odin's horse.
Oh,
It's
okay,
like,
cool.
dang, this is pretty like cool. But the minions got to be careful. They have a giant warning message like, be careful. Select which character you want to get this because this $5 is good for 1 character. Otherwise, you have to buy another one and send it to your character. So that's a little whatever. And then they're selling some costumes, like Halloween costumes, some additional ones for like
I'm sure they'll
a few
make,
bucks.
they'll make a ton
So
on that
here
stuff.
it's begun, but anything they're selling now in there cannot be obtained in game through
And
any
it's all
means, even if
mostly
it's
cosmetic.
It's all cosmetic.
Yeah.
Doesn't give you any benefit, but it's not available in game. So they did start that. So there's some people like getting a little like antsy about what's going to be next and stuff. So
But they did a good job.
Yeah,
Again,
like-
I'm just mentioning that this stuff's for free. Like, I like the way that they handle their content. I like that there's different degrees of things, not only just single player versus multiplayer, but just tonally. Like some things are very serious, some things are just boss fight centric, some things are just cosmetic or just kind of fun extra additions.
Yep, and
so, thumbs up.
Yeah, thumbs up, and they got more coming very soon. So
And you're not going to stop. I know that much. I mean, even if it was thumbs down, like I know you'd still get back on the horse.
there've been updates that haven't been like the best, but you don't have to wait that long for the next one. That's the thing. Like 6 weeks for like the halfway update where they add a little bit of new stuff, and then usually it's 3 months between the major patches. So
I know it's a sacrifice to play it all day, Mike, but I appreciate it. I just want you to know that.
Yeah.